This is UFC champion Sean Strickland, and this is Sean Strickland moments before this trained fighter gets triggered.
Oh, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
Yeah, you did hit a nerve, you bitch. Go ice your ankle, you coward.
Oh, man, that's it.
All right, guys, I'm going to square these guys off and for
And after I you up, Dricus.
So how does a man who's literally trained to incapacitate people go from this to this? You might think this is a one-off event, but there are countless times where trained assassins absolutely lose their cool. Let's take a look and see why trained fighters are so sensitive. Let's establish one thing here. The things that these guys are saying to each other are mean. There is no doubt about that. If you walked up to a random guy and said some of this stuff, I'd expect that person to spaz out. But keep in mind here, we're talking about people who are quite literally trained to beat down other men and get paid for it. People who fight, scratch, and claw their way to the position that they're in now, spending countless hours mastering their craft. These trained fighters are losing their composure to things that the average person might hear in a PlayStation party. The question is, why? Why do words matter in a business centered around violence? To answer this question, let's take a look at the case of Sean Strickland. UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland is set to face upcoming contender Dricus du Plessis. In a press conference promoting upcoming fights in the UFC, Sean Strickland would get absolutely triggered.
Yeah, oh, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
Let's stop right there. Before we take a look at what actually was said to Strickland, let's look at who Sean Strickland is for some background.
Izzy, I'll come over, dude. We can watch anime. You can put some testosterone on my ass. I'll do it with you. Let's go. Fight for a belt, you guys. Izzy, come on. Izzy with the tits. I gotta fight you.
I'm not saying that the world will be a better place with more of me, but you guys need to get hit by your dads a little bit more. Not even hit, not discipline. You guys don't need to be like, I didn't take out the trash, hit. You guys need to get like an alcoholic rage beating, and then you'll start learning how to have, nut.
Oh, I don't like to put big black things in my face like this, but we'll make it happen.
I feel like you're used to it.
I think you're used to it. Anyways, Shisha, how do you think she got the John Jones interview? I think if I was a serial killer, I'd have to kill a woman just for equality purposes, but it wouldn't really get my hard.
Yes. That is the same man that got so offended by what another guy said to him to the point where he got into a whole brawl in the crowd of a UFC event. Which, yes, you can get arrested. Just because he's a fighter doesn't mean he can just go around fighting other people, even if they're also a fighter. That's like a massage therapist randomly going around and groping strangers. Anyway, Strickland has said many awful things to people who didn't have half the reaction. So what could Dricus have possibly said? Well, Colby Covington, another brash MMA fighter, not even a week prior would say this about another fighter's dad.
On Saturday night, I'm gonna bring you to a place you never want to be. I'm gonna bring you to 7th layer hell.
Okay.
No, I'm bringing you to 7th layer hell. We'll say what's up to your dad while we're there.
Oh!
Then Strickland would bash Colby for making such nasty comments.
And him making fun of Leon's dad, that is the biggest move you can do. That is the biggest move to do. Leon's mom, dad, bad guy, good guy, doesn't matter. He raised the boy, she raised the boy to be a man, to win a title, to be a good man. And a real American would applaud him for that. They wouldn't tear him down for that. So just so you know, Colby is a fake and if he was standing here right next to me, the only thing he would do is call 911 because he is the definition of a bitch.
Right here is where I believe Dricus noticed Strickland has a soft spot for these sort of things. And moments later, he would say this.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit up you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one, the one where you lie in bed at night where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
Take your soul, you understand me? You yeah, you laugh, you
Strickland has been very public on his less than desirable upbringing and troubles with an abusive father. So, in turn, Dricus would attack Strickland, and Strickland would lose it, eventually leading to a whole brawl. Now, does this with no more context make Strickland sensitive? No, but when you factor in all the sort of things that Strickland said about Ian Gary, about Israel Adesanya, even about Dricus, it just doesn't seem realistic that a guy who, once again, is literally trained to harm people, and who says all this stuff can be so offended by someone else's words. So I'm gonna go to Twitter and explain behind his reasoning for the brawl and for being so upset. To sum it up in a few sentences, he basically is saying he represents people who had to go through abuse. And Dricus, along with one other fan favorite fighter, Sean O'Malley, who made comments about his abusive father, had never gone through anything remotely as traumatic or stressful as that, and that domestic abuse isn't something to joke about. So with all this background information, that leads us to answer the question, is Sean Strickland in this particular case sensitive? Yes, no, kind of? Well, innately, the things that were said to Strickland weren't nice. One can easily chalk that up to the profession he's a part of. How could you get upset by a word? You get punched in the face for a living. Or one could bring up the things Strickland says and say, how can you be upset? You say personal things all the time. When it all boils down, there's really no concrete answer. When beginning this video, I did in fact think Strickland was sensitive and even a hypocrite. But to get some more insight, I watched Sean Strickland's interview with comedian Theo Vaughn.
I used to stand up, like I heard when I was a kid that like if you peed around your, like animals could pee somewhere that other animals wouldn't come. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Huh?
Yeah, man, I got it.
Have you ever heard that? Yeah, I'm sorry, bud.
So, man.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good, dude.
We don't have to talk, man. I can just sit here with you for a minute. I can just sit here. We can just sit
Nah,
here.
it's all good, dude. 6 seconds, I just process.
After seeing this, I realized I can't begin to fathom the things Strickland went through as a child. I mean, to see the comedian who is never at a loss for words not really have much to say while Sean Strickland is breaking down, it let me know just how traumatic Sean Strickland's childhood must have been. Then I was stumped. I mean, the whole premise of this video is that fighters are being super sensitive, right? Then I started to kind of understand why Sean had the reaction that he did. I think judging if these guys are sensitive or not from an outsider's point of view isn't always fair. I mean, I thought that Strickland in this case was hypocritical, but sensitive? I don't know, because I never dealt with the things that Sean Strickland had to deal with. I think we have to keep in mind that these fighters aren't just fighters or robots, but they're people too. And we need to understand that everyone's environment, temperament, and past is different when looking at stuff like this. But what do I know? I'm just some poor 20-year-old writing the script in the dark. What do you guys think? Are fighters too sensitive? Is Sean Strickland a hypocrite? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching.